Hey folks, here we are in chapter 12, and this has got to be one of the most exciting periods of history that we're going to be looking at now, the Renaissance. What's going to come up here is primarily a complete change in thinking about what art was all about. Realism takes a front seat, and we'll start looking at 5 different kinds of perspective. In this chapter, what it starts out with is one of the most exciting things that I've ever visited, and that's in Florence, Italy, the Duomo, the domed cathedral that was engineered by Filippo Brunelleschi. This is how chapter 12 starts. Magnificent dome. He figured out how to build that thing without any kind of supports as it was being erected. It's an interesting thing, and I'll probably come up with an extra credit problem asking you to describe how that was done. Might take a little research to do that. Brunelleschi also did an awful lot. Brunelleschi also essentially invented linear perspective. There's a little reading associated with chapter 12, a one-page handout I put together that describes how he did that. The chapter alludes to it, but I think a little more detail on that is a very good thing. Then we take a look at Masaccio, another artist of the 1400s, who first applied linear perspective in a very dramatic way in a fresco in a church, where else? In Florence, Italy. In fact, very near to the train station, but I didn't have a chance to see it when I was there. Then the chapter starts talking about Donatello, another very dramatic artist of that period. The kinds of creations he made were sculptures and reliefs, and a couple of examples are shown in that chapter as well. You can see how he applied linear perspective in one of the reliefs that's indicated. And finally, the chapter wraps up talking about oil painting, the replacement of egg tempera with oil-based paints by Van Eyck, with a painting that has extreme detail in it, down to painting the hairs on the dog that's pictured. And a very novel device that was included by Van Eyck. The chapter talks about it in the way of a mirror on the back wall. Print the slides for this lecture, as you do for any of them, before you start watching the lecture itself, and then use those to take notes on the chapter readings and on any extra readings that are posted for this unit. I think you're going to enjoy this unit.